Hi everyone, it is Atia here at Booking with Atia, and today we're going to get into my week 4 update for NetGalley November, as well as my NetGalley November 2.0 wrap up. So how I did overall throughout the month, and huge shout out to Nicole and Coda and Vanessa for asking me to be a co-host for this round. It was super fun and I loved being on the sprint train. It was a grand old time. Excited for what's to come in the future for next year as well. This video is going to be split into 2 parts. So we're going to talk about week 4, like how I did my weeks 1 through 3 updates, and then we're going to talk about overall how I did during the month. So at the beginning of week 4, which is November 24th through the 30th, I started with 881 approvals, 514 feedback sent. So my feedback ratio was 58.3%. And then at the end of week 4, November 30th, I was at 892 approvals and 523 feedback. And my ratio was 58.6%. So I gained 11 approvals, but I also sent 9 feedback, which is almost a 1-to-1, which is pretty good for me. So in terms of the approvals that I got during this week, it was Queen of Faces by Petra Lord, The Full Picture by Jessica Carmichael, The Subtle Art of Folding Space by John Chu, The Seekers of Deer Creek by Thao Tai, The Poet Empress by Shen Tao, both the audiobook and the ebook, Secrets of the First School by T.L. Huchu, If I Ruled the World by Amy DuBois Barnett, Seasons of Glass and Iron by Amal L. Motar, Restore Me, the Deluxe Edition by J.L. Seeger, and Such a Perfect Family by Nalini Singh. And I finished 6 books during the week, and some of them I had both the ebook copy and the audiobook copy, which is like awesome. I love when I can do that and just read one book and submit 2 feedback. And like the other updates, I am going to read you the feedback that I wrote because it just makes sense. So starting with A Little Holiday Fling by Farah Haran. Let me zoom in so I'm not, straining my eyes for no reason. Farah Haran's A Little Holiday Fling follows winter holiday enthusiast Ruby as she attempts to convince the ultimate holiday grump, Rashid, that she's consistent and focused enough to work for his family's hotel conglomerate so that she can begin to live out her and her late mother's dream of owning a B&B in the English countryside. Ruby agrees to help Rashid curate a fun Christmas experience for his nieces, and Ruby learns how to redefine family, unexpectedly starts a fling with Rashid, and is forced to reckon with the true meaning between the dream she and her mother shared. Heron's writing is fun and humorous with perfectly placed moments of social commentary about misogyny, capitalism, and medical racism. The banter between Ruby and Rashid is acerbic, witty, and unrelenting. It was clear they were both stuck in their own perceptions of the world, yet their unexpected friendship propels them out of their comfort zones into new patterns of thinking. I'm looking forward to reading more of Farah Haran's work, and I ended up giving A Little Holiday Fling 4 stars on NetGalley. Next up, we have Chronicles of Ori by Harmonia Rosales. Debut author Harmonia Rosales' Chronicles of Ori is a collection of retellings of the stories of the West African Orishas, curated as an epic that begins with the dawn of the universe and travels through time to after the theft of Black peoples from our homeland. Rosales crafts engaging and descriptive fables that are reminiscent of the oral storytelling traditions prevalent throughout the African diaspora. As I read, I found myself thinking that Chronicles of Ori would make an excellent table talk book or a bedtime story staple, as it reminded me very much of times when my father would read to me and my brother from Aesop's fables. Chronicles of Ori is beautifully written, and it is clear these retellings were crafted with love and veneration, and I ended up giving that one 5 stars. Next up, we have Balancing Act by Paula Chase. Balancing Act is a YA contemporary told in dual perspective by China and Jamal, elite student athletes who've been recruited to their neighborhood's elite new school. Both are grieving the death of Jamal's brother Jock, who was also China's boyfriend on the low, and must get adjusted to their new school while balancing community tensions and political machinations. I enjoy Chase's writing style and how she was able to give China and Jamal distinct voices. The way they perceive and interact with the world are different and gave the story a sense of fullness. I was invested in the plot and all the different threads being woven together. Chase captures the textures of grief beautifully and is able to balance the sadder moments with swaths of humor and tension. I will most definitely be reading the sequel because this left off on a little bit of a cliffhanger. And I ended up giving Balancing Act 4 stars. Then I read Lead Boldly by Robert F. Smith. Lead Boldly is a rumination on several of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s most prolific speeches, given full and honest context while pulling his message into present-day America. Robert F. Smith provides both personal meditations and memories of living through the last years of Dr. King's life alongside very clear current-day parallels and issues. Lead Boldly does not edit around Dr. King's messages, but provides easy access to his true thoughts and the lead up to some of his most recognizable quotes. Smith draws parallels between the economic racial injustice Dr. King speaks of and the current inequalities still plaguing America. This is a great book because it makes Dr. King's speeches easily accessible while also providing context and connections to society without erasing his more radical stances. And I ended up giving Lead Boldly 5 stars. Then we have one of my most anticipated 2025 releases, and that is Eternal Ruin by Taijas Germa. The sequel to Taijas Germa's stunning debut, Eternal Ruin, follows the shocking the sequel to Taijas Germa's stunning debut, Eternal Ruin, follows the shocking events of Immortal Dark in this deliciously bloodthirsty and riveting dark academia vampire series. Eternal Ruin does what a second book is supposed to do: expand the world introduced in book 1, lay down some more breadcrumbs while also answering a few questions presented in the opening book, and introduce us to an even bigger bad than we thought possible. Very rarely does a middle book deliver and get my blood pumping like its predecessor, but Taijas Germa pulled it off with flying colors in Eternal Ruin. The writing is rich and achingly beautiful, demonstrating that Germa is a talented wordsmith and architect of language. Standing alongside the beautiful use of language and equally deserving of admiration is a character work and depth of relationships present. Every moment of growth and instance of love, betrayal, and loyalty is hard won. I'm ready to be obliterated by book 3. And if you couldn't tell, I gave Eternal Ruin 5 stars. Then we have Your Next Life Is Now by Namra Patel. Namra Patel's latest contemporary novel follows mother Tara, who decides to divorce her husband of 3 decades and take off in a camper van, and Nikki, recently engaged after only 6 months. The former used to always deferring her dreams for duty, and the latter a master at prioritizing her mother's melancholy. Both women are pushed to analyze how they move forward in their lives, even if it's a bit scary. I appreciated that while this novel mostly takes place in the present day, there are several chapters that track Tara's journey from 21-year-old bride-to-be and give insight to her psyche. Patel does an excellent job exploring how culture can be restrictive, especially for girls and women, while also how cultural practices evolve with a new generation at the helm. There's a nice balance of humor, character development, and plot that drives the story forward. Very solid read. And I ended up giving that 4 stars. Then during that week, I made progress in 3 different books. The first one being Our Vicious Oaths by N.E. Davenport, I, Medusa by Ayana Gray, and The Mind Electric by Priya Anand. So those followed me into December, and I read a total of 633 pages and listened to 19 hours, 15 minutes in week 4. Now, in terms of the entire readathon, like how did I do during the month of November? I started the month with 832 approvals and 492 feedback sent. My feedback ratio was 59.1%. And I ended the month with 892 approvals and 523 feedback sent. And my feedback ratio was 58.6%. So I gained 60 approvals. I sent 31 feedback, which is like kind of a feedback a day. And my feedback ratio went down 0.5%, which isn't too bad. Like, I'm not overly mad at that. I had 18 finishes and 2 DNFs, which gave me a total of 2,013 pages and 44 hours, 8 minutes. My favorite books, I have 3, were How I Know White People Are Crazy by Dr. Jonathan Lasseter, which I believe I talk about in either my week 1 update or my week 2 update, as well as Lou with the Band by Alexandra Leigh Young. You can find my thoughts about that one in the week 2 update, and then Eternal Ruin, which I talked about in this video. Let's look at the bingo board, which is so exciting. This is how it started, you know, nice and blank. This is how it's going. So the check marks are finished and feedback has been sent. The circles are in progress reads. And this is how it's going just with finished and feedback sent covers. So you can see like more clearly where some bingos are going to be happening fairly soon. And then I have this with finished as well as in progress reads. And you can see that I'm so close to a bingo on the bottom row. And then I have two other rows that are also super close to a bingo as well. I will be continuing to read NetGalley books into December like I did last year. The only difference is that I'm not going to be focusing on NetGalley reads in December. Well, it's like split. Half of my reads in December are going to be NetGalley and half of them will be like just other stuff. I'm usually reading 6 books at a time, 2 physical, 2 ebook, 2 audio. So 3 of my books, 1 of each medium or 1 of each format will be a NetGalley book just to keep me in the habit. And yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know how you did during NetGalley November. Where are you now that the month is over? Are you satisfied with your progress? Did you have any surprises? Are you, how close are you to 80% feedback ratio? And yeah, let me know all the NetGalley things in the comments. Make sure to check out my socials, which are always linked down below. If you want to further support the channel, you can become a channel member or a Patreon member. That's always linked down below. If you want to get yourself some merch or some bookmarks, make sure to check out my Bonfire and my Etsy shop respectively, as well as the Bibliophiles Unite Discord. And I will see you in another video. Bye!
Showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me.